Question number 7, Ron Mark.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Prime Minister and asks, does he stand by all his statements?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, yes.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Ron Mark.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the Prime Minister, does he stand by his statement yesterday, quote, there was a process and that red peak, like all the other flags, went through that process. I'm not the head of the committee, end of quote. And if so, why is he now considering a fifth design?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, in answer to the first parts of the question, the answer is yes. In answer to the last part of the question, in an act of conciliation and the likes, I've tried to say to the Labor Party, if they want to actually honour their election pledge and actually go out there and back a fair and even process, in other words, man up to the words that they went to the electorate with.
Order. The question's been answered.
Supplementary.
Order. 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 Supplementary question, Ron Mark.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the Prime Minister, what has persuaded him to corrupt the process that his government passed into legislation in this House?
Order. Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Absolutely nothing, but I'm known as a person that's reasonable and fair, and if the Labor Party want to come round and have a nice cup of tea and talk about how there could be a fifth flag on the ballot paper and then run a fair, reasonable process, because that's what their members privately go out, I'm sure, and tell people that they want to change a flag, then I'm happy to do it.
Supplementary.
Order.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Ron Mark.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the Prime Minister, and does he consider the red peak design his saviour for his failed flag change project?
Yeah, Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I think the process that we're going through, considering whether the New Zealand flag should change, is actually a good one. And I think it's an issue about national identity and national pride, and about whether we as a young multicultural country at the bottom of the world want to demonstrate to the world that we can have a new iconic flag that represents who we are. And, you know, I understand that some political parties take a different view to these matters.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Ron Mark.
On a different statement, Prime Minister, does he stand by the statement he made in the House when he announced the deployment of troops to Iraq that, quote, the deployment will be reviewed after 9 months and will be for a maximum 2-year period, end of quote? And if so, can he tell the House why after less than 5 months he is now considering deploying an extra platoon of infantry to Iraq?
Either of those two supplementary questions, the Right Honourable
Mr. Speaker, I have no knowledge of that at all. We made a commitment that we'd have around about 150 people, slightly less than that, in Iraq. And as I understand it, those numbers are going to be consistently maintained. So, how about it?
Order. Question number 8, Dr. David Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.